When people use renewable resources, it can result in what we call the natural capital degradation. Okay? Because even on the large, that's what I have said, that if there are large cumulative effect, if there are large number of peoples, the cumulative effect of natural degradation is actually evident. And because of this, it's not just natural capital degradation, we can also have pollution and also wastes, okay? And this is the ecological footprints that we have. So when we say ecological footprints, it's actually the amount or the amount of land and water needed to supply a population on an area with renewable resources and to absorb and recycle the wastes and pollution by such a resource use. Okay? And if that environment has a large population, then eventually it is hard for the environment to absorb and it's hard for the environment to recycle the wastes and may cause pollution. And even because of a large population, a lot of resources, renewable resources, will be needed to satisfy the people or to meet their needs, to meet their wants from our resources. Then therefore it can create a natural capital degradation, and because of these ecological footprints have a harmful environmental impact because of this scenario or because of these reasons. Okay, the per capita ecological footprints is the average ecological footprint of an individual in a given country or area. Okay, in this figure, this shows the human ecological impact in different parts of the world. For and the human ecological footprints and an impact on about 83% of the Earth's total land surface. Okay, so if it is on red surface, okay, or like yellow red, okay, it's actually has the most impact on the ecological footprints or the human footprints. Okay, so in this area here and that area there has a great impact on ecological footprints, and almost 83% of the Earth's total land surface have an impact on the human ecological footprints. If the total ecological footprint for a city or a country or the world is larger than its biological capacity to replenish its renewable resources and absorb the resulting wastes and pollution, then it is said to have an ecological deficit. Okay? So what do you mean by ecological deficit again? If the total ecological footprint, okay, this is already the harmful environmental effect of the ecological footprint, okay, for a city or a country or the world is larger than its biological capacity to replenish its renewable resources and absorb the resulting wastes and pollution, then there is what we call the ecological deficit. Okay? So that means that the total ecological footprint now is actually larger, okay, so than the biological capacity to replenish the absorbed wastes and pollution. Okay, so that is what we call the ecological deficit. Okay, in other words, its people are living unsustainably by depleting the natural capital instead of living off the renewable supply of the resources and ecosystem services provided by such capital. Okay, we're actually using more now of our natural resources or renewable resources. That means we are using our natural capital more and more because of we want we want the people, okay, to meet their needs now, okay, and because of this if it's hard for the renewable resources now to be replenished, to be renewed, and also to be restored, and also that there are a lot of wastes that are actually polluting now on our environment, then it will cause an ecological deficit. Okay? Globally, we are running up a huge ecological deficit. Okay, as shown in that kind of the map that I have shown you, that 83% of our Earths are actually being affected by the human ecological footprints. Okay? So, and because of this, there is what we call a relatively new school of thought led by architect William McDonough and scientist Michael Brongart. Okay, they takes a slightly different approach to the notion of human environmental impact and how to reduce them, and this is what they called as upcycling. So it's a slightly different approach to the notion of human environmental impacts and how to reduce them. This approach knowledge, this approach knowledges are growing ecological footprints and the need to reduce them. But it stresses that in pursuing our activities and in creating products and services, we need to consider how we can improve some aspect of the environment while we serve our needs and wants. Okay, because of ecological deficit, there is what we call the school of thought that was led by William McDonough and Michael Brongard to actually deal with that kind of problem or with that kind of ecological deficit. And this upcycling, which is what we call the school of thought of what we call the upcycling, in this approach, we are trying to let the people know that when we meet our needs, okay, or when we meet our needs by creating products and services, then we should consider that this kind of product or this kind of services has an environmental impacts or even a harmful effects on our health. Okay, so that we can improve the aspect of the environment we deal with that kind of services. If that has an environmental impact, then we can improve some aspect of the environment, no, while serving our needs and wants. Okay, in other words, the goal of sustainability will be served by our working to create and expand our beneficial environmental impact. So take note of that. The goal of sustainability will be served by our working to create and expand our beneficial environmental impact. Okay, say it with you. Create and expand our beneficial environmental impact. Okay, so this is the goal of sustainability. We are working to create and expand in beneficial environmental impact. And this is actually what we call the win-win principle of sustainability. Okay? We are all in this together. Okay? We will work together that once we meet our needs and our wants, we serve our needs and our wants, we need to consider the effects of it in our environment so that we can deal with environmental problems. Okay, we deal with such ecological footprints problem so that actually uh, we can actually uh, we can actually see the goal, okay, that we have, that we need to work together to create and expand our beneficial environmental impact. Okay? So throughout this discussion, we will discuss ways to use existing and emerging technologies and economic tools to reduce the size of our ecological footprints while increasing our beneficial environmental impact. So in this kind of lesson, we will now we will now discuss ways on the emerging technologies and economical tools so that we can reduce the size of the effects of ecological footprints while increasing or expanding our beneficial environmental impact.